Hello yarn tubers, welcome back to Dana's Wanderlust Crochet, and in today's video we're answering a question. One of those big questions. What the heck do you do with these? We're going to find out. Okay, what are we talking about here? We're talking about these little Scheepjes Catona little mini skeins. This is 100% mercerized cotton. It is listed as a fingering weight, and I did do a wraps per inch test, and it came out as fingering, but it feels bigger. It's like a heavy fingering. I have all these colors, and I will be doing more things with them, but today I'm going to show you, we're going to make a very Victorian style mug rug. What do you think of that? I'm really excited about this. Was an quick, easy pattern. But more about this Scheepjes. It's color number, what, 106? Is that the color number? Scheepjes. It's 100% mercerized cotton, fingering weight, calling for a 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter hook or needles. I used a 3.0, and I'm very pleased with how this turned out. So let's get started. For today's project, we're going to need one of these mini skeins of Catona, any color, a smallish yarn needle, pair of scissors, and a 3.0 millimeter hook. You can start with a magic loop, or you could chain 4-ish, I think, and slip stitch to the first chain to form a ring. I would think no more than 4 because this needs to tighten down. So I've got my magic loop formed. I'm going to chain 2. Then I'm going to do 16 half double crochet, sure I am, into the loop. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. I sure like the sheen. Lost count. Forgot where I was at. 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops. Stitch down. Stitch down. Get my hair out of there. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Cinch that down just like that. It'll leave a hole. It's not going to be completely closed. And then I am going to slip stitch to the beginning. I'm actually going to slip stitch to the second stitch because I didn't count the chain. And I like, this is what I call the invisible slip stitch, because the slip stitch will look like a stitch. And I want this pretty firm here. Okay. Now, round 2. Whoops. I'm going to chain 3, and that's going to count as my first double crochet. I'm going to double crochet in the very same stitch that I slip stitched into. That counts as 2 double crochet. And I'm going to put 2 double crochet into every stitch around, and this will give me a count of 32 stitches. I'll meet you at the end. Now I've got 2 stitches left. One is an actual stitch and the other one is the slip stitch over. This is why I slip stitch to the second stitch instead of the first one, because it leaves the exact count. There's no question. So I'm going to put 2 double crochet in here, and then 2 double crochet in the slip stitch. I just think it's nice. I just like it that way. It's what I call the invisible slip stitch. Now, same thing here. See, I have the chain 3, and then I have the actual double crochet both into that first spot. I'm actually going to slip stitch into the top of the actual double crochet, and that puts my slip stitch over the top of that chain, and it just makes a nice clean finish. Now, that's round 2, 32 stitches. Round 3, I'm going to chain 3 and double crochet in the same stitch. That counts as a double crochet, even though I'm going to slip stitch over the top of it and cover it up. Double crochet in the same stitch. Chain 3. And then 2 double crochet in the same stitch. And this is going to be our pattern for this row. 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet in the same stitch. Then we're going to skip 3 stitches and then do the same thing. The 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet in the same stitch. So we have 1, 2, 3. Here's our 4th one. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and a chain 3, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and we're going to do that skipping 3 stitches all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. 1, 2, chain 3, and then 2 more. You're going to end up with 8 of these chain spaces at the end of the round. So I'll meet you at the end. Now here at the end of the round, if I consider that slip stitch as my 3rd stitch, then I ended up with 3 stitches at the end of the round. Do you see that? And then again, I'm not going to slip stitch into the chain. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the double crochet. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the chain space. Make it a slip stitch, not a single crochet. Don't get excited. Slow down, girl. Okay. Then I'm going to chain 2. And that does count as a double crochet. If you prefer to chain 3, you go right ahead. I chain 2. Then I'm going to put 3 more double crochet into this chain space. 2, 3. I'm going to kind of slide it over. I'm going to chain 2. And then I'm going to put 4 double crochet into that same chain space. 2, 3, 4. Relax. Crochet is relaxing. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. 4 double crochet, chain 2, 4 double crochet directly into the next chain space. Not a single, Dana. Let's do a double. Let's try a double instead of a single. Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to slide those over just a bit. Chain 2, and then 4 double crochet. And we will end up with 8 of these points at the end of the round. And I will meet you there at the end. Okay, I'm not going to slip stitch into that chain. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the next 3. And I'm going to do this loosely because we will end up working stitches into those slip stitches. So be sure that your tension is pretty loose. So slip stitch into this chain space, and we're going to make our first corner. So we're going to chain 2, do a double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. So 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet is how we do the corners. Now, this is where your written pattern is going to come in handy, or you might want to write this down. I am going to put a double crochet into, well, I'm going to skip. I'm always going to skip the stitch right after the corner, and I'm always going to skip the stitch right before the corner when I come into it. So I'm going to skip 1, and then I'm going to do, and that one that you skip kind of gets, because there's a chain space there, it kind of gets hidden. It kind of gets hidden in that corner. So I'm going to go to this one and do a double crochet in the next 5 stitches. There's 2, there's 3, and this one right here where it stretches across gets kind of open. So that's 4, and there's number 5. And now this is going to be, you've got a corner here, and then this is going to be a side. And when you do the sides, you come to this 2 chain space. You're going to do a half double crochet in the next double crochet in the next stitch. You're going to do a single crochet in the one right before you get to that chain space. So there's a single. Now, slip stitch into the chain space, and don't skip this first stitch, because right after the chain space is that first stitch. Sometimes gets referred to as the hidden stitch. You're going to single crochet, half double crochet, and then the next 5 stitches get a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that leaves one last stitch before the chain space. We always skip that one coming into the corner. And remember, the corner is 2 double crochet. Hang on, I got a little knot. Sorry about that, had a knot. So in this chain space, we have 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet to make a corner. Wait a minute, what did you do, Dana? I think I did an extended. I did something weird there. Did anybody see that? Okay. And 1, 2. Okay, that looks better. So now you can see that I started with a corner, then I skipped a stitch, did 5 double crochet, a half double, a single, and a slip stitch into that chain 2 space. I did not skip a stitch. The very next stitch I did a single, then a half double, then 5 double crochet, and then I skip a stitch right before going into this chain 2 space to do a corner. And here we go. We got that stitch right there likes to kind of get hidden. That's the one we're skipping. And now we're going to skip over that, go into this one, and do 5 double crochet across. There's 2. Wait a minute. I went into the same stitch. There's 1. There's 2. I really like this yarn. There's 3. Oops, stitch down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that leaves 2 stitches left before the chain 2 space. And we put a half double, because we're kind of lowering down now. We had the height of a double, now we've got the height of a half double. Now a single into the stitch right before the chain space, and in the chain space we're going to slip stitch, and don't skip that stitch this time. That's where the single goes, and then a half double in the next one. And are you getting the pattern? Are you getting the repeat down now? Now the next 5 stitches each get a double crochet in them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that leaves 1 stitch left right before the chain space, which will be skipped. And doing a corner, which is 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. Okay. And remember to skip that very next stitch and go into the one right after it to start doing your next 5 double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. 5, and that leaves 2 stitches before getting to this chain 2 space, and we're going to lower things down by putting in a half double, a single, and a slip stitch. And then right here we're going to start raising up again. We're going to do a single crochet in that very next stitch, then a half double crochet, and then 5 double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, that was a half double. Getting crazy. I think I did a half double on the last one too. So I've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's 1 stitch left before going into the chain 2 space, which we skip over to do a corner. 1, 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 1, 2 double crochet. One more side to do, and I'll meet you at the end of the round. Okay, now I'm coming across my last side here. I did my slip stitch, my single crochet, and my half double crochet. Yes, that's where I'm at. And remember at the beginning here, we slip stitched across. So those are going to be a little tight. So I'm going to do a double. 1, 2, 3. See that? Little tight. Just ease it through there. There's 4. And there's 5. And this slip stitch counts as that skipped stitch before going into the corner. Now, I'm going to, again, I'm not going to slip stitch into the chain. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of this double crochet right here, because that's how I like to do it. Then for round 6, and this is the last round, I'm going to chain 2. Then I'm going to start my corner, which is a double crochet into the chain space, chain 2, and I'm going to turn this so that my stitches don't start spiraling. And I'm going to double crochet in the same chain space, and those are my corners. Now, there should be 19 stitches to go into across. We are going to count 19 double crochet across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now remember, 10 10 is right in the middle of this side, and that is a slip stitch. That's that slip stitch that you put into that chain 2 space on the previous round. So that stitch might be a little tight, but that's where you're at on your 10th double crochet. $11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then here we're going to do a corner, which is a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. I wanted to kind of tighten up this last round, so that's why I did it this way. Chain 2, turn your work, and double crochet. Now, again, when you're going from a chain space into the next stitch, that is sometimes a hidden stitch. And that's where you're going to start your 19 counts. So there's one of 19. And when you come around to where you started, remember I put a chain 2 there at the very beginning before I started the corner. So that means when you get done with this corner, you're going to count 18 across, and then we're going to do an invisible join. Okay? Okay, I'll meet you there. Okay, I've done 17 double crochet across, and like I told you, it's only going to be 18 coming across because we did that chain 2 in the beginning, and that counts as our number 19 before going into the corner. And number 18 is going to go into that slip stitch right there. So there is my number 18. Now, for those of you who've never done a invisible join, look, this is how much yarn I have left. You might even be able to single crochet around one more round, but I didn't. Okay, so I cut my yarn, and now I'm going to gently pull that through. Now it's time for a little needlework. I normally use these with my 4/8 and up, but this is the kind of yarn needle I use with a 3/8 and lower. So let's see if with these nails on I can get that through the eye. Yes. Well, first try. Good job. Okay. Now, again, I don't want to go into the chain. I want to go into the top of that first double crochet. And I go from, see, this is the top of that double crochet. I'm going to go underneath from the back to the front under both of those loops at the top of that stitch. And then this part, get this stuff out of focus here. And the whole point is to make this join look like another stitch. So I've come across. Now, right there is where that pink is coming out of that stitch. I'm going to go down in that same spot. Got to get the light right. Let's get the light right here. Okay, so I came under this stitch, and I'm going back to the stitch that I just came out of, right there, and I'm going to go down in it, and I'm also going to catch this loop that loop right below, because I'm immediately going to start weaving in this end. Now right now it doesn't look all that great, but look at this. Pinch that together and look. That's what makes it invisible. It just looks like another one of the stitches. Okay, point out where it is. It's right there. Now I'm going to turn this over, kind of go upside down with it, and I'm going to go down through here until I get to the bottoms of these double crochets, because that's where I like to weave in those ends. But see, the top of that looks really, really nice. And now I can weave in these ends. Now I do this a little differently when I'm, this is considered, let me get my hair out of there. This is considered a fingering weight, which is why I'm using the smaller needle. And I do a little bit different technique. Like if you saw that great dishcloth from a couple weeks ago, you'll see that I would run it underneath these stitches one way, and then back, and then a third time, and then I would snip it and it'd be done. But with smaller, finer yarns, I really want to do things a little bit, I just don't want to, I have to be careful of bulking things up. So I'm going to go under a few, and I learned this from Jeanie Crow, when I was following her pattern and her videos for doing the fruit garden. Okay, so I came out right there, and now I'm going to just come back this direction and go under that last one, and then go under a few more just past where I came out before. Because it's a matter of not bulking up a finer piece. So I came out right there, and now I'm going to go back one thread and go forward that same from right to left again. And I'm even going to split some threads just a little bit for anchoring. Take these cheap scissors, and then I'm going to tug out just a little bit. Do a snip and then smooth it out. And to me that makes, there's less chance of this bulking up. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this center from my magic loop. Okay, here we go again. Let's see if I can do this with these stinking nails. Okay. Yeah, first try. Good job, Dana. Okay. So I crocheted over that tail. Now I'm going to catch, it comes out right there, but I'm going to catch some yarn right before that, and then just keep going. Keep going the same direction. Sure I am. It's pretty tight though, being a magic loop. And I don't want to pop out the front. It's not easy. And I do split a little bit of yarn doing that, because it'll help anchor it. So I came out right there. I'm going to come in behind and then advance underneath a few more. Maybe split one or two. And I'm going to do that one more time. Came out right there, and I'm going to come in one strand behind and continue on the same direction. And that makes for less bulking up. First time I saw her do this, I'm like, are you kidding? I'm just going to weave back and forth like I always do, like Mikey taught me, blah, 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 blah. But there's a refinement to doing it like this. And keeping these finer yarns from bulking up, it's a thing. Okay, next I'm going to show you what I do before this actually becomes, because look how wonky it is. Let's fix that. Now here is my blocking method. I wish I had one of those pegboard type blocking setups. I don't have one of those, but someday maybe. So I eyeballed it. I'm not sure how square it is, but what I did was I took some L.O.C. and a bowl of just lukewarm water, and I didn't even try pouring a drop because I wanted less than a drop. I stuck my finger in it, just got a little tiny bit on my finger, and ran that around in the warm water, and then I submerged this, rolled it up in a towel a couple of times, squeezed it pretty good, and then did my best to put it on this blocking board with all these pins. This will probably be dry by morning, and I'll show you the difference in the finished products. But I do like a good, nice blocking. Okay, you guys, what do you think? So here's the one that blocked overnight. And this one, I just, to me, it feels like, I don't know, like my beginning projects. And I just feel like this blocked out, it would be even better if I had like those blocking combs. That's what I want. That's what I want, is some of those blocking combs. This I would feel really good about giving as a gift, especially a set of them. This is a very Victorian pattern, so anyone who decorates, you know, you can have these in several colors and have them sitting around as last minute gifts. And I think I'll have some tea. Okay, you guys, tell me what you think. Let me know if you've made any of these. You can always email me pics and I'll share them out in the community tab. I think this is a really great, you know, use of just one of these mini skeins. And if you bought a pack of them, you could make these in several colors. Tell me what you think in the comments, okay? Okay, I love you guys. Bye.